House is back in session a day early today following the Senate's passage of the Republican tax reform bill. Join us now, Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito. It's going to, I mean,
hello.
Is it going to, good morning. Is it going to be this? It's going to be this year.
It is.
Signed.
It is.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Absolutely. Last time we talked, I gave it an 85% chance of passing.
What do you give it now?
Oh, 100.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
The momentum is unstoppable.
What needs to be, how's it going to be reconciled?
Well, I think what happened was in the very last several days, the Senate bill moved more towards the House bill in some aspects. And I think that was in anticipation of a conference. So some of these things have been ironed out. The House has said they will accept the removal of the Obama tax penalty portion. So that's a big hurdle there.
That helps.
It helps a lot, and so I think we've looked at this. We know how important it is to the economy. We see it an anticipatory, lift already, and I think the American people believe it's going to happen.
It's hard to.
I agree with you.
They're still trying, but it's hard for the other side to keep saying, well, the stock market going up doesn't really benefit Main Street, because for so many reasons. There's a wealth effect. There's animal spirits, there's 401ks that people have, all you need to do is have a $5 trillion loss of market value in the stock market to see that it's better when it goes up for the country. And so that is sort of a barometer of how it's going to affect economic activity and growth in this country, but they won't admit that, I don't. Well, they're still saying this is, I'm reading this is the worst bill in the history of the world. You read the rhetoric from the other side. People dying from this bill. We're going to have a guest.
I know, and for me, that's just so disingenuous because it's so over the top. It's unbelievable. If it was something that was so devastating to the economy, it's taken us 31 years to get to this point. I think in terms of what we're doing on territorial and on the corporate tax side, to relate that to a state like West Virginia, over 50% of the workforce works for companies that are going to be able to unleash their capital to raise wages, create more jobs, buy more capital, and that will have a major effect on a state like
Senator, do you think that will take place immediately? And I ask this because it's not a popular bill when you ask people right now. They think that corporations are getting a lot, and many individuals, people who itemize medical expenses right now, students who itemize or who are able to not pay interest on their student loans and write some of those things off, they're unhappy about it. Do you think the benefits, the economic benefits, will catch up before you have the midterm elections?
I think they will, but I would like to say on medical expenses and student loan expenses, the Senate treated those differently.
You think that will be the way that
I do, because I think the House has probably realized that is something that is politically unfeasible, and it makes sense for working families. But, if you look again at a small state like mine, 83% of the people in my state don't even itemize. Right. So they're getting a doubling of their standard deduction, a doubling of their child tax credit.
Right.
So for folks to say that there's going to be no benefit at that level, I think is untrue. And I think it's going to go all the way through the economy. I'm very, very excited about it. No matter what they say, I'm all in. I've been all in, and I'll continue to be that way.
Not all of the senators have been all in.
No.
And once they're in, are they in? It's not over till it's over. What was that other saying that I wanted to use?
It's not. None of it's approved until all of it's approved.
None of it's approved till. Murkowski's in.
It'll pass.
Okay, the McCain, he's not going to do something crazy?
McCain's complaint, at least on health care, was processed. He seems satisfied with the direction that we're going. You're right, and we're not all in until we're all in. But I think that the momentum here is unstoppable. And I think the opportunity to do something very big for the country is an enticing thing for a political animal, such as I am, and many of us are.
Can you figure out why it was 2020, 2020, 2020, through all the hard part, and then when it gets done, and it's okay, maybe 22. Why broach that subject now for the president?
You know the answer to that.
That's how you negotiate. You throw it in.
Yeah, but you didn't need to negotiate
anymore. It was
Hold
done.
it. It addresses the issue of it benefiting corporations, so he dings them a little bit. I have a question away from taxes.
Okay.
To me, the biggest single crisis in America today is not health care. It's not taxes. It's not immigration. It's public education. Mm-hmm. When the hell are our elected officials in Washington going to be, you want to close the income inequality gap? Educate kids. Put kids in a position where they can compete for these jobs. When are we going to have a lot of noise made about these kids that are being deprived of the opportunity to participate in this economy, okay? And if it doesn't start in Washington, it's not, and I think you got to, in Betsy DeVos, you certainly have somebody who gets it and who wants to make change. Nothing is said about this, and it gets worse Obama came in, he could have been the greatest president had he addressed education. From when he came in to when he left, it's only gotten worse.
Well, I think you're right that the focus needs to be there. I think we have, with the last bill that we passed, Every Child Succeeds or Every Student Succeeds, pushed a lot of this to the states to be able to formulate what's better for the states. The other thing we've talked about is where are the jobs of tomorrow? Are they at a four-year degree in a college? We're really putting a lot more emphasis on career and technical.
We should, because you know what?
We should.
These kids that are struggling, going to college, going in debt, they get out, okay, I did everything they told me to do, now where's the job?
Right.
We're paying electricians and carpenters, and we can't hire them. In New York City, $120,000, $130,000 a year. We have to import them. So why not make an effort to let people know it's okay to be a tradesman, it's okay to be a craftsman. But the bigger issue to me is these poor kids that leave high school and they can't read and they can't write and they can't count.
Well, I think there's all kinds of issues there that need to be addressed, whether it's the system that's been in place for so long that you can't. I know in New York you have problems with what are teachers doing if they're subpar, they're not performing correctly.
Right.
Can you get rid of them or
no.
can you? No, and that's a problem across the country. But I also think teachers are undervalued in a lot of ways. They're not paid enough. I mean, in our state, they're not paid enough. They're not given the resources that they need to have, and I think that's an area that we could really help our teaching profession.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And good to see you on set.
Nice to be with you.
Great. Thanks. Nice to meet you.